Hey, hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau Jr., and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So, today, since it's Super Bowl Saturday, all right, the Super Bowl's tomorrow, Super Bowl, I think it's 58. It's between San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I don't really care too much who wins or loses. I just would like to see a decent game. And of course, when my team is out of it, I just watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. Let's be real here. But I do want to talk today about championship teams and what does it take to be a championship team. And more so than ever before, it seemed that this year there was a lot of different things. I was watching a lot of football over the last, I guess, 5.5 months or so. And one thing or several things kind of stood out this year that weren't so obvious in the past. I'd watched a lot of games and afterwards I'd hear the coaches and the players were interviewed. And, I watched College Game Day and NFL Today and all these pre-shows and not all of them, but sometimes. And whenever I hear these players and coaches interviewed after the game, and sometimes in the pre-shows, they'll be talking about, they'll ask them, "Hey, what is it about this team? What is it about this team that make you guys so great?" And one thing that's really stood out this year is something that it seems all the players and coaches said, but it's the love that they have for each other. The love that the team members have for each other, the love that the coaches have for the players and the players have for the coaches. It's the unity that they have going on that, you know, they're going through everything together. They always talk so much about how much the team is unified. Again, I mentioned earlier, but the love that the players have for the coaches and the leadership of the team. Everybody that's interviewed, whenever I seen any player, that's what really stood out. They always highlight how great the coaches are and how great the leadership is of the team. And the leadership could be, the captains of the team and the people that are really leading the teams on the field. Another thing was the love for the game itself. These players, yeah, they're playing a game that a lot of people would just love to have the chance to do, but they're the best of the best at what they do and they love it. And a lot of times professional athletes, college athletes, they lose that love for the game. But I've really heard that in a lot of post-game interviews this year. And the fifth thing was the willingness that they all have to do whatever it takes. That resiliency to do whatever it takes to bounce back, to pick each other up, to fill the holes if there's an injured player. Somebody else is stepping up. There's always somebody every week that has a big game, that steps up and rises to the occasion. The other thing is they talked about how much practice that it took, how much effort they put into all the practices. It was that skill. They have the skill, but they're quick to say that skill and the way they're playing on the field is because they're all dedicated and to the practice. And, they're dedicated to reaching that mastery of their skill. And finally, another thing was I think they all need a few fortunate calls here and there. Football is a subjective. There's a lot of subjectivity in the calls, and sometimes refs make bad calls, sometimes they make good calls, sometimes they miss calls altogether. It was funny because my daughter Tori, my 21-year-old daughter, she got into football this past year, and she's been watching it with her boyfriend, and she watches it a little bit when she's home here, and I ask her how she likes it, and she's like, "Well, it's pretty good, but I'm a little bit confused about all the rules." She's like, what is this holding? And I was like, "Well, you can hold inside the shoulders, but you can't hold outside, or you can't like yank somebody down from the back, or you can't tackle somebody if they don't have the ball. That's holding. And she's like, you know, well, what about that last play? I saw people holding on the line, it seemed. And we go back and rewind it and we'll play it. And we're like, yeah, that's pretty obvious holding, but, the refs missed it or the refs didn't get it. And they might have scored a touchdown. The team might have scored a touchdown on that play, but the ref missed a holding call. Or pass interference. That's another one that really confused her, because it's so inconsistent, it seems, from game to game. But the championship teams, they seem to get some breaks on the calls sometimes, and sometimes they got breaks against them, but I think overall you need a little bit of luck here and there. So the bottom line is championships teams, they're not made overnight. But one thing that stood out is the love that they have for each other. The love that they have for the game and the love that they have for each other and the togetherness. Also, the resiliency. And the third thing that really stood out was the willingness for all the players and coaches to put in the work, to watch the films, to go through the drills over and over and over. And to me, that's what makes a championship team. I would love to hear your take if you have any other input on that. But I think that's a lot of the stuff that I heard throughout this year. And if you think about it, that one thing that they love playing the game, they love the game itself. A lot can go on that, a championship team on the job as well. The job, the leadership that you're providing in your team at work. Does your team love each other? Do they really care about each other? Are they willing to put in the work? And do they love what they're doing? I heard a quote. It was, I think it was on a conference or something that I'm watching. And the quote was something about if you are not 100% in belief that your job can significantly impact other people or influence other people, they said you will never reach your full potential. And I thought that was pretty cool. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this show, and I hope you have a good time if you watch the Super Bowl tomorrow. And, with all the latest technologies, usually you can watch all the Super Bowl commercials on YouTube beforehand. So that's a little spoiler for you, but you may want to do that. Hope you enjoy it. Hope your team wins if you're rooting for a team. And bottom line is, I hope it's just a good game. And if you're together with some people, just enjoy that togetherness. Enjoy the camaraderie and the thrill that goes along with watching a good game with each other. And enjoy the food that you may have. Have a great rest of your weekend. And until Monday, run to your challenges. We'll see you.